Here's an American beech, another tree that's on your list for this first week. It's related, it's in the same family as the oaks and American chestnut, Fagaceae. It has kind of a oblong shaped leaf, eventually comes to a bit of a point with coarse teeth all around the margin, so this would be called a toothed margin. It's a simple leaf, so these are all growing close together, but they're individual leaves. They're not a compound leaf. You can see the coarse teeth all along the margin. Again, beech is very shade tolerant, and we'll talk more about beech ecology this semester. It grows very well from the root system, so it does a lot of asexual reproduction where it produces clones of itself. It's being affected by a fungus and an insect working kind of in tandem. It's an introduced insect called the beech scale, and then a native set of fungus, the Nectria fungus, which results in beech like this one. This one is dead already. The fungus is allowed to get through the bark of the beech by the holes made by the insect, and then it grows under the bark. Here's a larger tree. We'll walk towards it. But the bark, the fungus then creates pressure pads underneath the bark, which give the bark that broken and lumpy appearance. A healthy American beech will have smooth gray bark. It's the type of tree that if you see in a park, people like to carve their initials in. It leaves marks. We'll see, I'll show you some later that have bear claw marks on them when the bears climb up into the canopy to get the nuts. But unfortunately, in my lifetime, I've seen very few healthy American beech because the insect was introduced into North America around in the 1950s, I believe, and has progressed throughout the range of beech in the north, at least. And so most of the beech stands I've seen have been infected. And every now and then you see one that has a nice smooth bark, like they should. But they're very few and far between, unfortunately. Although beech will grow vigorously from the root system. So when I scan through my woods, I'll zoom out, and as we pan and look at everything in the understory, most of the small trees you can see are beech, because they do, even this one, they do grow very well from the root system of the mature trees, even after the mature trees die off. And they're very shade tolerant. So they can grow and persist in the shade, and then when there's an opening in the canopy, they respond very well to the new sunlight. And because they're growing off a mature root system in many cases, they can outcompete a lot of the other trees that are growing from seed directly. So beech is an important component of our eastern forest. It's an important wildlife food. Even these diseased trees, which are declining and dying, like this one, will produce nuts in a good year. So they don't produce a good crop of beech nuts every year, but even sick trees like this one will produce nuts in a good nut year.